guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Summer House Martha's Vineyard. This is season 2, episode 2. So let's get into it. Y'all. So the episode opens up where it left off, where they're still on the boat. I'm still annoyed that Milo doesn't have on a life jacket or a puppy jacket. I don't care. He needs a life jacket. But they get off the boat and everybody's broken up into sprinters. We find out that Noelle is going to throw a decades party. So in the other car, I think it's like Jordan, Jasmine, Nick, and I think Jordan, Jasmine, Nick, Summer, and Nick is like rubbing on Summer's shoulder. And what we found out is when Nick get drunk, he get handsy. It's not in like a creepy way, but he just like to touch, and he be doing a lot. Well, I don't even say doing a lot. He just don't like. It's like, okay, you overly touching people, and it's not like he's touching inappropriate places, but he doing a lot. So. And you can tell that the girls are not really into it, mainly Summer and Jordan, because that's who he keeps touching. We find out that Jordan and Jasmine, I guess because they had that conversation on the boat ride, they're cool now in a sense. But it seems like Jordan won't pressure with Jasmine because it's kind of like her vibe is like you can tell she doesn't want to fix things with Jasmine. Jordan doesn't want to fix things with Jasmine. It seems like she's okay with where they're at. Like it's not like she wants beef, but she no longer wants them to be sister cousins like they kept referring to each other. So in the other car, it's Noelle, I think Bria, Shanice, Alex, and Preston. And the question is, when's the last time you got you some? And Preston is like, I got a man, so I don't even need to be a part of this conversation. That's when we find out that Preston has a boyfriend. Noelle is like, oh, March. Shanice is like, I love DICK. I love it. And I'm like, okay, Shanice. And then Alex is like 4 weeks. My thing about Shanice is, like I tell y'all, she give me rainbows and poison. Like she seems sweet, but piss her off, knife in, like she coming with it, the type of vibe. But pretty much, it's kind of messed up. But I just feel like that's why I say it's kind of messed up because I'm trying to make sure I don't be disrespectful. But Shanice just gives desperate vibes, and I don't know if that is what she's meaning to come off as, but that's how it comes off to me. Like always being naked, always flashing your titties, always like be like it's like you don't got to do all of that all the time. And then constantly saying how much you like getting some and all the people you being like, there's nothing wrong with expressing yourself. There's nothing wrong with sex positivity. And like, to me, I think it's okay. As long as you're using protection, you are with a responsible partner, making sure you don't have no babies, no STIs, no STDs. It's cool. But I think the issue is that with Shanice, it feels desperate. It feels like she thinks that if she's like this is the only way she can be liked. Because at times when she's like, let's drink, it's like, I get it. Like, I get you want to party, and there's nothing wrong with partying because there's always like a time and a place. And some people are like that. When they on vacation, they on vacation. But with Shanice, it feels like this is her life. Like, she keeps people away with this persona of like, let's drink, let's do this. It's like she's not. I can tell that it's like, it feels like desperation, but it also feels like a defense mechanism. Like, she uses this persona of like, I'm the fun, good time girl, where it's very surface level. So like, she doesn't have to get deep with the people around her. That's just how I see it for right now. So they're having a decades party, and we then see everyone gets back at the house. I think Noelle is the one that's hosting the decades party. They're chilling for right now since they got back from the boat. We see Summer and Bria in the hammock outside. We find out that Bria is now living in the United States. If you didn't know, last season she was living in Germany with Simon, her boyfriend, but she had to come back because of work, and she was talking about how she feels like he's her person, and she was like, they're in a much better place because she treated that man wrong last season. Like, she was doing too much. She was mad rude to him. So I'm glad she corrected that, because Simon seems like a nice person and a nice guy, and he seems like he really cares about Bria, and he's excited to come out to the Vineyard because he misses Bria. Summer says she thinks Jasmine is pregnant, and then Bria makes a makes a comment where she's like, that's what they do. They get you pregnant and then deploy. She not lying. I lived on an army base. Let me tell you something. When them boys ain't think they about to leave, get shipped out, it's baby season on on the base. Everybody pregnant. You be like, what's in the water? Don't drink it. So I was like, she not lying about that. But I wonder, I guess she's not telling them yet. But then I saw I think in the trailer, or it was a promotional photo of where they were doing a luge, and it was like Shanice, Jasmine, Amir, and one other person. So maybe she's not pregnant yet, because I was like, girl, you losing, and I don't think you're supposed to do that when you are pregnant. So who knows? Who knows? Or maybe she's preparing. I don't know. We don't know, but we know she had a baby. So congrats to her. So we then get this really nice scene of Amir and Preston, and Amir genuinely asks Preston, like, how are you doing with the passing of your father? And Preston pretty much says their relationship was complicated. His dad didn't like the fact that he was gay. And I think it's comical that man told him, I didn't raise no gay son. And then Preston is like, you never raised me. So what are you talking about, sir? To have any critique over your son's life when you were an alcoholic and a mean and aggressive and abusive one at that, how dare you ever question what your son chooses to do with his life? You better be glad he allowed you in his life. Like, that would have turned me off. And I guess that's what it did to Preston. So he was like, with his father being gone, it's kind of like letting go of that anger and resentment he had built up. And the mourning, like, there's no longer any time for him to mourn the loss of that relationship, because they'll never have it, because this person is no longer here. But I did think it was really nice that Amir asked, like, hey, how are you, like, doing, like, seriously? We then find out, when Nick get drunk, he get handsy, he get a little, and he acts childish. They were all making fun of him. He gets quiet, he gets goofy, because Shanice was talking about, oh, we're going by the pool. You come into the pool. And the way she did it, Nick was just looking at her like, you freaking me out. He was like, I'm going to take a nap. And then he laid down in it. He was passed out in that bed. And so they're having a decades party. Noelle is the hostess. I like Noelle's vibe thus far. Like, I think she's really cool. She seems very down to earth. She gives SGA at a HBCU. Like, but cool SGA, not somebody that just wants to be SGA so it looks good on their resume, but SGA that actually, like, cares about, like, the university and wants it to be better and cares about the community of the school. She seems very sweet, so I like her. Like, we're on episode 2. I think we got, like, maybe, like, I think this season maybe 10 or 12 episodes, so maybe I might switch up as the season continues, but pretty far, like, we are only on episode 2, and I like her vibe. I think she was a good new addition to the cast. So they all get downstairs in their outfits, but before then, we see the guys talk minus Preston, and they're all talking about the situation between between Alex and Summer, and pretty much Amir hit it on the head, where he was like, Summer was expecting you to be like, I'm Summer, I'm special. And Alex is like, yeah, you're Summer, you're cool, but, like, you're just Summer. And she's expecting, like, no, but I'm Summer. Like you're supposed to really value me. And Alex is like, yeah, no, girl, you cool. So then Nick talked about a rebeat. Here's the thing about Nick. I think Nick is overcompensating because he's in a house with 2 guys, Amir and Alex, which girls oftentimes find very attractive. And he's just seemed as a nerdy guy, even though he's also in a fraternity. What I will say about Nick is the type of guy that probably in high school never got picked. And then when he got to college, he joined a fraternity, and he probably met the fraternity chasers, because there are girls like that, and boys, who, once you get them letters, them Greek letters behind your name, you could be lame as hell, but they gon' they gon' go down that road with you, because you got them letters in your behind your name or on your profile. And I think that's probably how he got most of his, like, game. But I feel like if he would just be himself, people would like him either way. Like, I think he's overcompensating, because no one says rebeat, and the explanation for it was lame too. I'm just like, boy, be yourself. Just be yourself, and who comes comes, and who doesn't doesn't. And maybe I can see myself in Nick a little bit. Like, especially when I got to college, I was like, okay, I'm going to reinvent myself. I'm going to be new. And then when you get there and you try to be something else, it doesn't feel right, or you end up making a fool of yourself. And you just realize if you're just being yourself, the people that are supposed to be around you, that are supposed to like you, are going to be there. But also, you can tell in the house that they pick on him. They pick on Nick and they pick on Shanice, because this whole entire episode, it was just kind of like, okay, y'all, let the person breathe for a minute. Let them breathe. So they're doing the decades party. Jasmine was 50s. I thought she looked cute. Preston was 90s. It wasn't really a big jump. So I didn't get why they all picked him to win, because it wasn't, I didn't even think it was that good. Noelle, Summer, and Nick were 70s. I'm surprised they did not know who Arthur Ashe was. I remember learning about him in like elementary school, and my elementary school was white. Like the fact that they didn't learn, I was like, you really didn't learn about him. And Bria was right when she said that he looked just like Arthur Ashe. Nick really does. Side note, Bria's confessionals, that yellow, oh, she looks beautiful. Is it yellow? I think it was a yellow. If it's the wrong one, I'll just put it on the screen. But like, she looked gorgeous. I said, "Come on, Bria, this outfit really looks good on her." Bria was the early 2000s. We found out she was like in a girl group. It was given very much. She was trying to be Blackpink. Shout out to all my K-pop stands, the rational ones, not the crazy ones. Um, Shanice, I don't know, girl. I did think it was kind of messed up that Bria was like, it's giving working girl, and Shanice didn't know a working girl meant a lady of the night, a prostitute. I howled. I was like, you didn't know that meant prostitute? You really didn't know that? Okay, ma'am. And so Amir ends up dressing up like Nick, which I thought was funny. It was cute. And oh yeah, I already talked about Bria. So they gave it to Preston. Amir was kind of like, not Amir. Nick was like, well, why would y'all give it, like, y'all not gonna pick me? Like, I dressed up as the theme, but like everyone said, Nick, you dress like that on an everyday basis. But I would have gave it to Bria. She looked like the early 2000s. It was giving Jenny from the block, and then she even had the microphone and was rapping. Either her or Jasmine, because they, like, when I saw Jasmine, I got 1950s. When I saw Shanice, I got early 2000s. Like, I thought of J-Lo or Left Eye. So I'm just kind of like, y'all gave it to Preston for what? Because I didn't know. I thought Preston was supposed to be a biker until he said juice. So everyone, like, after they do the whole little judging thing, everyone kind of disperses from the group and goes put on different clothes. And so the girls have on like swimsuits or other outfits, and they're playing this card game. And Shanice is like, let's do shots. And everyone's like, girl, no, we good. She's like, no, let's do shots. And so she picks a card out of their game, and it actually said, everybody take a shot. And everyone's like, oh, we could just drink what's in our cup. And she's like, no, we're doing shots. I said, okay, Shanice. So she goes to the kitchen and gives everybody like to prepare shots for everybody that's drinking. And the next question was posed was like, who do you think is the worst dressed in the group? And I don't know who it was geared towards, but Summer was like Shanice. Like, she said it so quickly. And Shanice was like, what was said? And so she comes back with the shots, and she was like, what was said? And someone told her, oh, they said you were the worst. Like, they asked who was the worst dressed, and Summer was like, oh, and I said your name. And Shanice was looking at her like, are you serious? Because I'm the realest in here and I don't wear fake labels like you do. I said, "Oh, girl, you hit a nerve." So then Shanice was like, "Y'all know what? F y'all," and she left and went upstairs, and everyone was kind of like, "Oh, like." She seems really mad, like she seems upset. And Summer is like, it's not that deep. So then Bria goes up behind her. She brings Milo. She's like, Shanice, like, what's wrong? And Shanice is crying in the bathroom. And what we find out is that when Shanice moved from Phoenix to Tampa for her job, they actually fired her while she was in Florida. So that's the only reason why she was able to come on this trip full time, because she doesn't have a job right now. And she already booked this trip, so she was going to still come. But she was like that. She didn't have the money to buy new outfits, and she was just breaking down. And I felt bad for her, because I was like, that does suck, especially like if you don't really know where your financial it's like that's a scary place to be. But also finding out that Summer knew, so it's kind of like an added dig, like you know my situation, and yet you would say that. So then Noelle is just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go check up on her. So she goes upstairs, and it's the three of them in the room with her, and Summer and Noelle tells Shanice, like, if you don't come down, like, they won. They won. So like you should come downstairs. And she ends up being like, I don't know why she would, like, Summer's like, I don't know why Summer would even say that to me. Like, that's messed up, bro. Like, why would you say that? And so they're all sitting down. The other people are sitting downstairs, and they were like, well, maybe she didn't know it was a game. Like, maybe she didn't know that it was a game. Like, maybe she thinks we said it out of the blue, like, just to be mean, and that's not it. So Nick makes a comment about, like, dang, like, y'all was doing it to me, now y'all doing it to Shanice. So she finally comes downstairs. Summer's like, Shanice, like, what's wrong? And I would have been like, Summer, don't talk to me. And so Summer is trying to explain to Shanice that, like, oh, it's a part of the game. Like, I didn't do it on purpose. And Shanice is like, I know it wasn't, it's a part of a game. I still don't like what you said. But I do like the fact that Jasmine said, Shanice, it's okay if you feel bad for what we said. Like, you are allowed to have those feelings. Like, I think that's kind of what Shanice needed to be validated, because I feel like if the whole house was like, you doing too much, then yeah. So it was kind of messed up. It did feel like they were picking on Shanice, and like, leave Rainbows and Poison alone. Leave her alone. He continues once Shanice, kind of gets out her feelings. They're playing music, they're dancing, they are twerking up a storm. Nick is just sitting around watching it, enjoying himself. Amir is like, I don't think that's appropriate. And I'm like, Amir, who cares? Like, y'all came to this house. Half the girls here are not. Though I think you know what? A lot of people keep saying there's not enough single people in the house. But if you think about it, Preston has a boyfriend. Jasmine is married. Nick has a girlfriend. What's his name? Amir has a girlfriend. But then you have Alex, Noelle, Summer, Jordan. Oh, and Bria has Simon. So it's like only three, like, four people that don't have significant others. But I guess what a lot of people have been saying online is like they need to have other people that are also single in the house. So there can be like hookups and all of that stuff. But they're dancing and all of that stuff. There's a moment where I think Nick was trying to like dance with Jordan, or he like touched Jordan, and Jordan was like, get off me, like, stop. And he was like, okay. And so he was over it. Then we see the scene where Amir, while everyone's dancing, is like texting his girlfriend, but I guess the text that he sent didn't make sense. It was something to the effect, and she felt like he had been talking to somebody else automatically. So I'm like, does she think you're cheating, Amir? And then Amir goes downstairs in the basement, and he calls her, and he talks about how he doesn't think what Nick is doing, sitting there watching all those girls dancing, is right. But I'm like, I wouldn't care. Like, if my boyfriend was at a house party, or would, like, I mean, as long as you're not doing things with them, and you're not like disrespecting their boundaries, I don't care if you watching. Because if it was a bunch of naked men around me, I'm lucky. And I mean, it's also like some of the women in their house, like, I feel like, unfortunately, Shanice don't be having boundaries. She flashing Nick. She twerking right beside Nick's head. He moves, and then like it's like it's a catch-22, because I feel like, yes, there's a part of this that is disrespectful in the regard of Nick. Like, you do have a girlfriend, and like you shouldn't be in the mix of that. But also, like, she, like, y'all know what these women give. Like, it's getting drunk, shaking butt, and having a good time. Like if you were okay with them doing it the first time, you should be okay with them doing the second time, especially if they're not doing nothing with them physically. So it's the next day. Shanice lets the house know that she was sexting a bunch of people. And I said, girl, didn't nobody need to know that? And she was talking, and they even showed her. I said, Shanice, your boobs are about to be plastered all over the internet, because they even showed her sending her nudes to a group of, like, to a couple of guys, and she was like, she sends her good news to the guys that she really likes, and the guys she don't like, she just sends whatever. And I said, okay, girl. So then we see Nick and Tasia on the phone. We also see Preston on the phone with his boyfriend, and then we see Alex singing. Now, he was doing a little doo-wop show-opt, so it was cute. So I thought it was a nice scene to see Noelle and Nick playing chess. We find out that Noelle goes down to like the park in New York to play chess and that she's been doing it for 3 years. I thought that was cool. I've never been interested in chess. We have a scene with Jordan and her dad where she lets her dad know that she got like a wig deal with a company. And we find out that Jordan has alopecia. I don't remember the specific type she has, but she has like bald spots like she gets, and she doesn't know if they're going to grow back this time. But she's having a difficult time accepting what is happening because it is genetic. So she kind of knew that it could happen to her, but the fact that it is happening is very like disheartening for her. We then see two events. We have some people going to brunch and some people going to the gym. So the people that are going to brunch is Preston, Summer, and Jordan. And the others are going to the gym. So they're in the car and driving, and they bring up Nick, and Jordan's like, he's always on my body. So they were like, it's nothing like, he's not being creepy. They don't think he's being creepy or sleazy. Like, he's not touching boobs, he's not touching butt or like private areas, but he's just very touchy feely, and they're just kind of like over it. And they feel like it's being disrespectful to Tasia because they don't know, like, it would she be cool with it. So they feel like Nick wants to break up with Tasia but doesn't know how to do it. Now, some tea that I got, but it came from the Brooke Ashley because she went to the Summer House Martha's Vineyard premiere show in New York, and she said that Nick let her know that him and Tasia not together. So I don't know if we're gonna see that, like what make them break up, or if he's gonna break up with her on the show, like on phone or something. But they pretty much say it feels like Nick doesn't really want to be with her anymore, but he doesn't know how to break up with her. So they go get brunch. Honestly, Preston's food looked nasty. I was like, who eats salad at brunch? Okay, if we getting drunk at the brunch, if I'm doing a mimosa flight, girl, I need I need chicken, waffles, I need a good omelet, a salmon Benedict, a lot of like bread to soak. Because if we're gonna be there all day, I need to be prepared. Like, I'm not eating no salad with chicken on it. Girl, what? So while they're there, they talk about how Preston asks Summer, how was Alex in bed? And she tries to act like he wasn't good. But I'm like, if he wasn't good, why are you pressed? Why are you pressed? Because who is pressed over lame peen? Because it's giving you trying to save face and it's not working, Summer. So she also talks about like it being like she's good at having situationships. I'm like, Summer, you're lying, because if you're not good at situationships, because this right here is not showing that you're good at situationships. She has like a Freudian slip when they talk about Noelle, and they say how Noelle can date, like, she can pursue Alex, but she ends up saying Nick. Like, so it's basically like Summer want to be with Alex, and she's not cool with Noelle wanting to be cool with Alex, like wanting to like see what it is with Alex. So I just feel like, girl, if you were be honest about your feelings, you wouldn't be looking goofy right now. They also talk about Shanice, and it was interesting because the energy that people are feeling as it pertains to Jordan, Shanice, and my God, it's too many people in this house. Jordan, Summer, and Preston is. I seen people feel like they're like the Mean Girls clique, like, and I kind of don't see it. Like, I see it, but I don't see it. I'll make that determination later on in the season if they are there. But it is definitely giving like we're over here and they're over there. It's giving that they're trying to other themselves, or they are othering themselves from the group. So the other group is at the gym. They was doing too much. That gym was too. I thought we was walking around the track, hit a like jog on the treadmill, but they doing a lot. You got a mirror over here on them, like them hoopy things that they do during the Olympics. Flipping. Bria ends up flipping. We find out that she used to do gymnastics, but she ended up quitting because it was taking up too much of her time, and she wasn't, I guess, performing well in school. Alex tried to do it because he was like all the girls was gassing him up and almost broke his arm or his wrist. Nick was doing it, and then we end up seeing Amir like deadlift 365 pounds. That's a strong man right there, because he picked that up and dropped it. I said, wow. So they're all at the gym, and while they're at the gym, we see a conversation happening between the rest of the girls that are there. So that would be Bria, Shanice, Jasmine, and Noelle. And Noelle was like, girl, I didn't even know that Alex and her were like that. Because when we talked about it, she acted like it was nothing, like they weren't having a serious relationship. So it is kind of weird to me that she wasn't honest about it. And they were like, girl, you didn't hear her say inside at the dinner table? Like she said inside. And they flash back. When I tell you Noelle was too into them crabs, breaking up and eating them, that I guess she didn't know what happened down. I thought she noticed because she made a face like, but I think maybe she was like doing the, when she was breaking her crab leg. I don't know. But she was like, I didn't know it was deep like that. I said, yeah, girl, it's deep like that for her. So you might want to have a conversation. The latter half of the episode, we have a scene where everybody comes back to the house. You know, the people that worked out are hungry, and we see a sit down between Summer and Noelle in, I guess, Summer and Jordan's bedroom. Mind you, I don't get why Summer and Jordan didn't take Noelle's room and they give Noelle's her room, because it's one bed and they're sharing a bed when there's a room that had two beds. That doesn't make sense to me. Maybe they wanted to be upstairs instead of downstairs, but okay. So pretty much Noelle has no Summer has an attitude. Like she does it in the truth booth, in their confessional booth in the house. But she's asking like Noelle's like, girl, I didn't know you and Alex had, she's like, I didn't know y'all did that. Like she was like, I thought that he tried to get with you, not that y'all actually got together. And she's like, yeah, we hung out, like I told you we hung out. And she was like, yeah, but I didn't know y'all hung out. So then Summer is in the booth, the confessional booth, being like, what do you mean you don't get when someone says they hung out, no, I'm with Noelle. Either y'all smashed or you didn't. You could have just told me that. Y'all either got it down and dirty or you didn't. Saying that like y'all were hanging out doesn't do it for me. When people be like, "Oh, we hanging out," I'm thinking y'all dating. My mind's not going to like y'all in the back seat doing things. Like you should have just been like, "Girl, we did some things. We messed around a couple of times." I'd have been like, okay, girl, I get it. I feel like if she would have been on, see, Summer getting on my nerves because she's not being honest. Like, be honest. You got played. You played, honestly, no, you played yourself. I can't even put all of this on Alex. If Alex is saying he was truthful about who he was and you're saying he was as well, and you thought the relationship was more than what it was because you put expectations on it, then you can only be mad at yourself, especially if the other person in the relationship told you up front what it was. He told you up front what it was. So I think Summer is trying her best, trying to act like she's not bothered, but sis, you're bothered. You're bothered. That truth booth confessional moment gave bothered. So we then see all the boys down in the basement, and Preston ends up telling Nick, like, you do get a little handsy with the women. And Nick is like, what you mean? And then Preston was like, nobody thinks it's sleazy or anything, but you get handsy when you get a little. And Nick is like, what? So then Amir jumps in. I don't know what he could not say interpreted. He said interpretated. I said, and he's like, Amir said, well, I got a B in English. I said, no, sir, you probably got a C or a D. Because I've never heard someone say interpretated instead of interpret. But he was like, what you're doing could be perceived like an F-boy move because you have a girlfriend. And then Nick is like, Tasia and me know what it is. Like, she knows me and she knows I would never step out. Like, she knows what it is. But Preston ends up saying, I think Jordan is saying, Summer are going to have a conversation with you. So you can tell Nick was uncomfortable. Like, what you mean? He's kind of like, I don't get why they just didn't come to me. Like, we've hung out multiple times and they could have just told me what it was. So now he kind of feeling some type of way. So he went up the steps and he was like, he walked into their room. Mind you, he didn't hear them say come in. So I was like, that was a bad move, Nick. But he walks in and he's like, So I'm uncomfortable right now, but I just want to know, have I ever made y'all feel uncomfortable? And then Jordan was like, you are handsy. And then that's where the episode ended. So I think this is an important conversation they should have. Like, do I think Nick is being a creeper? No, but he is being too touchy feely. And people have the right to be like, hey, don't touch me. Hey, I'm not comfortable with that. You touching me a little too much. Some people just don't like to be touched. But I don't think Preston was the right one to like relay the message. I think it should have came from Jordan and Summer, especially if they are the ones that have issues with it, because now I think Nick kind of feels like everyone's talking about him and not talking about the situation. Like they could have just came to him. He just feels like, well, we hang out all the time. Why don't y'all just come to me? But I mean, I hope they have. I don't think it's gonna make Nick out to be some sleazeball. But I do think he got to keep his hands to himself. Like, if people don't like that, people don't like that. I've been friends with people that are very touchy, and I'm just like I, we could hug, like yeah, but you know what I mean. But yeah, y'all. So that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic, and definitely drop down in them comments below. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.